think wonderful for us to have the exhibition of her projects upstairs in the front members room. I'm sure most of you by now have noticed that I think there is a great deal of interest in the whole area of landscape architecture, but specifically the territory of urbanism in relationship to landscape happening very much at the school. Already we've had Alexandre Shemetov and Michel Courageux, and I think there is, in a sense, very much a kind of continuity, though the work of all these landscape architects is quite different. There is a certain degree of continuity in terms of the interest in the territory of urbanism seen as landscape, or landscape seen as urbanism, which somehow by itself is seen as a kind of critique of our historical or traditional notions of planning, because it begins to really open up many more issues such as temporality, and something that really critiques, in a way, the whole convention of separation of domains, and begins to allow many areas to be considered simultaneously. And I think for this, the work of Olga Tarras has been exemplary in terms of the reorganization and the rethinking a large part of Barcelona. The other thing, I think, in the context of the presentation in the School of Architecture that I think is interesting is that in Barcelona, as far as I know, there isn't really a landscape program, or there isn't a school for landscape architecture. So all the landscape projects are done by people who have trained as architects, and I think in a way that also sets up some interesting issues in terms of architects working with landscapes and really setting up the conditions then for the intervention of architectural projects. And Olga Tarras works very much like this. On the one hand, in her position working for the city, she works with very large-scale urban projects, and then in terms of her office, she also works with very small-scale architectural projects, which are all somehow seen within the framework of landscape. One last thing is that I think if you look at the work upstairs, you see that over a period of years, I think Olga has been working now on landscape projects for some 15 years. There is a certain level of kind of simplicity of ideas, and trying to make the projects as simple as possible in a way, and also a kind of consistency that the work begins to work towards, which really gives the work incredible strength. And it's a pleasure to have Olga, and would you please join me in welcoming her? Yeah.
Well, I'll try to explain this project in the better way as possible, but I think I will be helped by somebody, by Jaime, if my English is not enough. Thank you very much. I have been working in the Office of Urban Projects created by the architect Oriol Bohigas in 1981. The urban renewal of Barcelona in the last 15 years has a very close relationship with this office, as maybe you know. I will show you 4 works designed by me alone or with other architects in collaboration with them, which correspond to different periods in the story of this office. The first one, the General Moraga Square, was designed in 1985, and for me it is the first time where the experience of the years before were integrated and reflected my experiences on urban public space. Maybe this way of working has, well, I would say, with more experience and with more elaboration and in a different scale, has followed during the other years until now. The old Port Promenade and the Seashore Promenade are two projects which belong to an important enterprise which was assumed by our office before the Olympic Games. For the Olympic Games, several new public companies were created for the development of the Olympic areas, and they got a lot of power, and that's why the office, the central office for urban projects, lost in that time its hegemony in the urban projection of Barcelona. As the area of the old port, the areas of the old port and the Barceloneta seashore were domain of different administrations and public companies, the task of our office, which was, we were commissioned, another architect and me, Jordi Enric and me, it was to design a general project for the sites of the Barceloneta. You will see in the pictures that the Barceloneta is has a triangular shape. We had to design this general project and in order to relate those sides of the quarter to the sea, to the port, and to the city, because as you will see, it is a quarter historically separated from the rest of the city. It was very difficult to develop this huge project as the administrations became our clients. It was strange. We were our own clients before, and at once we became new clients which had the economic power on the sites, and also their own interests, their own plans for them. The initiative of our office, and I think that our work had a good result, and in this moment almost all the projects, the single projects belonging to this general project have been finished, the works have been finished, and there are some left which are going to be finished in 2 years. The fourth project belongs to the last period after the Olympic Games. Well, this is a very different time now after the Olympic Games. Many quarters of the quality level of many areas of Barcelona had developed very much, and after the Olympic Games, we had to consider how to do the renewal of those areas which were not Olympic or had nothing to do with the Olympic infrastructures. And well, you will see which kind of problems we find now after the Olympic Games. Well, yes. This first project is the General Moraga Square. This triangle here. The site of this project was result of the changing changing of an industrial area related to the situation of a wear station, Sagrera. Norman Foster has been working on a project for the whole area, Sagrera, Sant Andreu, until the limits of the city. And this industry related to the station, the war station, was changing into a residential area. At the same time, the ancient grid of the quarter of the Sagrera here was being changed by the new grid, by the Cerdàs new, coming from the regular grid coming from the center of Barcelona. And this gave, as a result, the apparition of many irregular lots which had to be built as residential buildings, or as new open spaces. This geometry and the traffic and environmental conditions had as a result the project you will see. Well, I had to say that that area was interesting to work in, because it had been an area occupied by a lot of industry. All the residential buildings were new, and there were some streets which limited with the square, which had to connect with the other side of the railway area, so that this gave a special condition to this site, because the streets surrounding it became very important streets, and the project had to solve the environmental problem given by this situation. As you see, the shape is triangular. It's on the wrong side, I'm sorry. Three elements, three surfaces were projected, forming a new triangle inside the former triangle. A little, the place, the lines, a little changed, so that it could give a relationship between how do you say this? La acera, ¿cómo se dice? No, the pavement, la acera, the sidewalk, yes. Between the sidewalk and the sidewalks on three sides and the center of the square. These surfaces were their slope were projected in a way that there appeared a new center of the square of this place, far away from the surrounding streets, far from them, because the three slopes were inciding in one single point. This would be the sections of which are also on the wrong side. The cuts of the square. Here you can appreciate this work on the slopes in order to introduce a main point in the center where the three surfaces would intersect. Well, those are several images of the square which show the way of working with the levels, with the materials, and the relationship between interior and exterior of the square. Those pictures correspond to two of the access from the sidewalk to the center of the square. I projected in the intersections of the different surfaces this access to the place in the vertex, which are the best points for relationship inside, outside, and at the same time geometrically the most difficult points to work with. The three main axes were on the edges of the inner triangle, but in order to make easy the crossing of the square, I designed a small staircase in the middle of the longest side. A little torn, girada, twisted, yes. Well, these are two pictures from the inner side of the square. The surfaces, one of them was paved with this material, we call it saulo, and it's the granite disintegrated, like this. The second surface, this one, is paved with brick, and the slope given to it produces 1 meter or 1.20 meter high wall between the square and the sidewalk. You will see the entrances. And the third side, this one, is covered with grass and planted with shady trees which have yellow-colored flower in summer. In the middle of this space, because this square had to be at the same time the school courtyard for the schools in the neighborhood, which didn't have any place for this, and at the same time a big square where people could meet and have their meetings, cultural or political. In that moment it was very important because we didn't have squares in Barcelona after many years. And at the same time people, small children had to play, also elder children, and I didn't want to specialize any objects in order to do this, but the square had to be the playground, and the form, the shape of the square had to be the place where to play. Well, these pictures correspond to this center area. You see the third entrance. We will see another picture later, is resolved with a very easy stair which arrives to the center of the square. As you see, this slope is a little important, more or less it's 12%, and at the beginning I thought of it like a place where people could lie on the pavement or sit on the pavement and read the newspaper or receive the sun well, the sun. This is a view from the other side. Here, the stairs arrive to the center of the place. You will see that the benches and the furniture is a part of the whole project. It's not. I didn't work with it as furniture inside a place, but as well, taking an importance by itself in order to form the place. This is Calatrava's bridge. This was very important for the square because, well, for me, because the position of the square beside the bridge made that people could, could arrive there, because I think it would have been not unknown if not. No? And these two sculptures belong to Ellsworth Kelly, and that was very funny because everybody has asked me if we worked together from the beginning of the project, because they seem to pass good to the square. They had to be in another park, a very large, a much larger park, but they didn't fit well with the place. They were too big, and the scale of the park were spoiled by the position of these two sculptures. So Ellsworth Kelly couldn't be, no podía ser, no se le podía dar un disgusto, no? They couldn't be disappointed, and we had to manage to put them in the neighborhood of this park. So by fax, when the square was almost finished, we decided to put them, he said, 30 meters away, one from each other, and well, I sent him a drawing. He was said okay, and I think that the fact that the sculptures took place here was good also for the square. I think they finished the whole work correctly, I think. These are two images of this wall, this separation or the relationship among the square and the sidewalk. This would be the second entrance from the sidewalk to the center. Well, you see this effect. Well, you see the two entrances from the side and the way. Well, and the way of finishing this, I had a lot of problems during the construction, because there was there was not much money left, and the client and the constructor and everything was the same city, so I was obliged to employ materials, not very good materials. This would be the third entrance I thought about, with these stairs, two different ways of arriving to the center of the square. Well, this is an image of the old city of Barcelona. Here you see this drawing, this engraving in 1750 or 60 more or less, and the actual picture, photo of the whole area. The Barceloneta was a quarter built at once at the middle of the 17th century because because the Bourbon kings had to build this citadel at that side of the old city of the city. So a huge quarter of fishermen and so on, which was here, had to be destroyed, and people living there had to come to the Barceloneta. I show this picture because it illustrates very well how the Barceloneta has been from the beginning a quarter isolated from the city, built on a sand bank and separated off the city because of the old port, of the activities, but afterwards because of the increase of the creation of a very big industrial area, because the train was arriving here and reinforcing this distance, and because of the industrial use of the old port. Well, this image illustrates this engraving is done before the build of the Barceloneta quarter, but it illustrates well this activity on the old port, how it was at the 300 years ago, and this is an image of the 30s in our century. Thank you. A new mall was created, Mall de España, and built on it. The former facade would be this one here, the same. This wall was demolished at the half of the last century, and along the port, all these buildings were built related with the industrial port activities, and which closed totally the relationship among the Barceloneta and the port. Well, this picture was taken before the beginning with the works of renovation of the whole old port area. This picture corresponds to the demolish of those buildings here, which was very discussed because there were several groups, intellectual groups in Barcelona, which wanted to leave the buildings there as an historical reference of the quarter. When the port administration began to demolish the buildings, and this image appeared at once, all the discussions against this decreased, and the people living in Barceloneta really preferred to have these buildings demolished. It was very important because it was like the first act of giving the port, the old port, back to the city. Well, this is a photo plan and a drawing of all the several projects we have done around this quarter. This would be the first one, Old Port Promenade, and the Pla de Palau Square and Correo Square and so on. This would be one project, and this is the second one, all the seashore promenade, divided into three parts. The renewal of the existing promenade, which is this one, the construction of the new promenade, where some restaurants and bath installations were placed before, and this third phase, which is going to be built in 2 years. This project was done by Jordi Enric alone. This is a park which joins the Citadel Park with the seashore and the sea. And the sea. Okay. Well, this photo has been taken in last year, so it's very recent and shows very well all the operations, all the interventions we did in this area. This project has two main parts where to work. The first one is this mall of the Barceloneta, this Old Port Promenade, related with this axe, longitudinal axe of the quarter, and which has a shape more or less regular and a use very partially already defined before we began with the project, because as commercial acts and restoration acts and so on, this promenade was already very important. The new was to have this area free of buildings. The solution, you will see the pictures, but the solution for this part of the project was to have a new section of the type of section. I don't know if you call it like this. Section type, I mean that appears everywhere, and only in both sides, on both on the top and bottom of this area, we work with a section in order to change it and to give an answer to the related to the buildings which are there. The second part of the project, I have to say that the port administration was responsible for this part, and this one was competence of another public company, the Institute for the Urban Development for the Olympic Games, which were they projected even all the spaces related to the highways, in urban highways. But this part here, we discussed a lot with them because we wanted one global project with no differences between one part and the other part. So this part of the project has had to solve important circulation problems, traffic problems, and also had to give a response to the existing urban structure, neoclassical urban structure, and the port and all this circulation and distribution area. Well, these photographs were taken when the works were not completely finished. The trees were very small, but I think that here you can, it should be explained how the different surfaces, the different planes follow one to each other, permitting the continuity between the Moll de la Fusta, the Moll de España, as pedestrian areas and commercial areas, with the border and with the existing acts of the Barceloneta. Pedestrian surfaces follow one to each other, always with the same pavings, giving always well, a relation to be understood by the people walking on them, and separating always, as possible, as far as possible, the circulation bands. ¿Se dice? ¿Bandas? ¿Bandas circulatorias?
Routes.
¿Franjas?
Routes.
Routes? Okay. Because in that point, we needed, or the city needed, a round point for the distribution of the circulation going to this industrial part of the port, and to follow along the Barceloneta and into the Villa Olímpica. So we deformed the existing structure, neoclassical structure, and when it arrived here, and when this linear acts arrived there, they formed a new shape which permitted to separate these traffic routes and give a lot of space to the pedestrian areas connecting one to each other. Well, those are images of how we tried to do this. We wanted at the beginning to have the same paving on stone in the pedestrian passages on the streets, but it was impossible because of the timing of works, because it had to be very quickly, all this. So we achieved from the circulation responsibles to have a very wide and very important pedestrian passages which would continue with the forms of the pedestrian surfaces. Well, this would be more images. Well, you can project, you can at the beginning, you try and you can achieve that they do what you think is necessary, but after a few years, they do what they want, so this is the same place and you can remark the difference. Well, here, this round point, well, the grass was, it was at the beginning, how the circulation was separated and organized around this big square cut in two parts because of the passage of the cars. In several cases, we extended, when we could, we extended the project until the facades of private buildings. This was the garden of this school, and we were discussing with them in order to arrive to their facade with the same materials and with the same way of working. Well, this would be this on the right. You can see a general view. When I was talking about this first part of the project with the section, well, the picture is deformed, but with the section always the same and changing at the top, at the bottom, you can recognize it well. This form corresponded not only to a necessity of having a beginning, a wider beginning, and a wider end of the promenade, but also to remark a direction of promenade in direction to the sea. The decision of which materials to use were conditioned, like always, by the budget, of course. But we decided, and after we have always done more or less the same, we decided to reserve the biggest amount of money, the biggest material, the best materials to the more special places, stairs, the edges, and so on. And the big surfaces, we have paved them in asphalt, colored asphalt, or in artificial paving. I don't know if you call it artificial paving. It's, no? Piedra artificial?
Artificial stone.
Stone, yeah. Well, this corresponds to the first part of it with these two main squares. Well, the decision was to change the slope of the promenade in order to give on that side a good place to look at the facet of the city, and at the same time to give a good finish before these two buildings, which had not been designed to be final of perspective, because at the beginning they had to be something like here, and they were replaced like there were in the project to this position. So this slope gave the possibility to have also the paving on it, which was stone, give the possibility to have important events with many people on it, and at the same time give secondary un papel secundario.
Second role.
A role to this building. We changed also the sort of trees. Those here are pine trees, and on this center band there are trees with flourish in spring and summer in a very colored way. Those would be several cuts. This one here showing the slopes and the way to arrive from the upper surface to the border of the port. This one shows this section here. We had a difference of levels of more or less 1.5 meters between this street here and the border, and we simply designed a unique slope which would join both parts. This corresponds to a cut there, more or less, where you see that this surface is given to the quarter promenade, and this here is getting smaller until arriving here, because this mall there is new and not too wide, so the relationship among both sides of this entrance to this marina, to this sportive harbor in the middle, and both sides of this entrance had to have a similar shape. This would be a cut like this, more or less, looking towards the other side here. Well, some pictures, I will show them quickly. Here you see these gradas, ¿cómo se dice? Grades? Gradas? Stairs. Yeah. The big square from both sides. Well, how this changement of the slope gives a different horizon line, and how it leaves those buildings in a secondary role. This would be the drawing for the square, for this triangular square. How the stairs begin. Up. Yes, this is the border of the port, and these stairs looking toward the Barceloneta. The way of solving the relationship among the different surfaces and levels. This stone, this natural stone paving this area here, was recuperada.
Was recovered, reused.
Reused from other streets of Barcelona. Here you see this, this effect with the facade of the city at the bottom. Well, these are again those sections, maybe more, which explain maybe a little more. This picture has been taken 1 year ago, so trees begin to have the shape they should. This line here, the limit of the triangular square, is looking towards the open sea. You can see the different orders of the different types of trees. Here, those here, we call them plátanos orientalis, are very common in the streets of Barcelona, and we use them on that side also in order to give this sense of belonging both sides to the same axe. Those elements here were not designed by us. Well, I won't say anything about this. We are very disgusted. These are the of course. These are the palm trees which give the scale to the whole intervention, and between them and this more urban axe, all those shade trees placed in irregular way. There are two sorts of lighting. Those here, which were designed, also Jordi, Enric and me designed them before of this project, and which give an order and a regular distribution for all this area from here to there. And there is a second element which is much higher. This was an element used by Eduard Bru in the park of Vallebron, the Olympic Park, and we took this design and used it for that area, because they are very high, very tall elements which can provide lighting of very wide areas. And like this, they don't need to be placed very close to each other. This would be the end of this axe and how it becomes into a square on both sides of it. Well, the way of furnishing the central part, these benches, which were designed by us too before, were placed without the back, were placed like this between the palm trees, and there is a second sort of benches looking always towards the facade of the city, which have a back. Well, we have big problems in Barcelona now because politicians don't want, well, this is not important, but for us it is, they don't want any benches without a back, and well, it's a stupid circumstance. This is the beginning of the first triangular square, and how these steps go into the continuous asphalt, colored asphalt. Well, this would be the upper part of this triangular square, the same bench as seen from both sides. Yes. Well, when this picture was taken, this part had not been built yet. You will see pictures where it's finished already. Well, this was a product of the casuality. We wanted to have those stones integrated to the surface, to the slope, but as we did all the project, but we didn't pay the money in order to build it, well, it was impossible, so they were left like this, and afterwards we even liked it. It's only a problem of security, because it's very easy to well, yes. The relationship with the other side, this was not finished yet. I don't know if I have a picture of that. Well, this would be the other part of the project, with a different kind of problems in the whole area. Well, I wanted to show this drawing here, because here you can see the relationship, all these surfaces coming one after the other one, and so on, and the passages, pedestrian passages, and so on. And also, well, this is a working drawing which shows the el cuidado, the care the care with we had with the definition of all those curves and how they had to continue one into another one. Well, this is a first drawing, an intention drawing, but I think it illustrates well this sequence of spaces and vegetation and slopes and everything. Those cuts correspond to different, for instance, this here would be there more or less, and shows how the different streets are separated by those slopes which leave in a secondary place the traffic. You see 1, 2, here again. And how these streets should get lost into a bigger pedestrian area. Here these lighting elements. Well, the effect of those slopes leaving at their back this car circulation and traffic. Well, you see, the height is always very small, but it's enough to to achieve this proposal, this idea. It's not like this anymore. You have seen. Well, the way of working, always we left the best material for the edges and well, how in that case we arrived to the facade of this building, and we had several situations we had to take to our project, like the trees which were before and so on. You see these lighting elements, which were ordered the sequence along this axis. When they arrived to the square, act as elements forming a line along the pedestrian ways. In this place, it's the single place where we had to design a border element as a bench and at the same time as a protection, because this part of the sportive harbor shouldn't be invaded or by the people. By the citizens. This is, I told you before that this was not finished yet. Now this picture shows it finished. This element, border element, coming there, and here the other side, the beginning of the old Port Promenade. Oui, this is not. Where? Okay. And this would be the last picture. This part here. This part here is a piece gained to the port because of our project. This street here had to be built on the hub highway, which was under, yeah. In order to profit the possibility of planting trees, we had to build this street directly on the concrete structure, so that this ran too close to the border, and we proposed to the port to enlarge this part here, and this part was enlarged after the Olympic Games and was finished in 1993. Okay. The first phase of the seashore promenade is placed at that part here. You see the final of the Barceloneta grid. I wanted to show this engraving because here you can remark that, and in the pictures I showed before, that the grid, the Barceloneta's grid, arrived to the sea in a very disordered way, not in a geometrical way, didn't have a limit solution or a final solution. And well, it was the same during all those years. Several restaurants, popular restaurants, had taken place here, and they had legal problems with the ministry, which is the administration which has the competence on this part of the Barceloneta. And there were also several bath sportive installations of the beginning of the century, which were now obsolete, which were not used anymore. So that the ministerium profited of this circumstance, and with the new law, yes, law. And had them destroyed or no, removed, yes. So that the shape, as you see, the shape of the intervention was a little strange because, well, it had to be placed between the sea line and this inform limit of the Barceloneta. This was the facade of the Barceloneta when almost all these installations were removed. Only one of them is still there. This is the the promenade, the seashore promenade, built in the late 50s, built in a very wrong way, because in order to have a new facade of the city to the sea, they introduced a new level, a higher level, 3.5 meters over the Barceloneta's level, leaving at the back the whole quarter, and building new constructions on this level. Like this, all this part of the Barceloneta, all that part here, became worse and worse during the last years. So we had another problem, and it was to decide how to manage with this new project, which relationship we had to give it with the existing promenade, which has to be renovated, but of course we will have to leave it at the same level, because now the buildings are already built. This is an image of the removing of the buildings, and what they found exactly on the other side, the streets, the long streets of the Barceloneta, which from the beginning had their end on the seashore and looking towards the sea, had all those walls blocking these perspectives. Well, those are two pictures about of the situation before the removing of all these constructions here and there. You see the Barceloneta finished as it was possible. All those elements were invading the seashore and the sand, and this ancient, this former promenade at another higher level. Well, here you can see an image of the new project with the solution for the relationship among both parts of the promenade. We have such a wide distance, a long distance, that it could be solved with a single slope, 4%, joining both parts of the promenade. Well, this was the end of the former promenade, and another view of this connection. Well, here you see this relationship among the both parts of the both projects. Here it is the Plaza, the C square we call it. It's the beginning of this promenade. Well, some pictures here is drawing. No, it's on the opposite side. Well. This would be on the other side. The Barceloneta, this paving arrives to everywhere. This promenade had to be not only the promenade, the Barcelona's promenade along the seashore, but also had to provide the open spaces to the quarter of the Barceloneta, which is very dense built, and which doesn't have any open spaces in its structure. So that on one hand, we had to follow the sand line or the sea line, but on the other hand, we didn't want to remark any linear shape, because the intention was the opposite, was to integrate all the piece to the quarter, to the geometry of the quarter. That's why, for instance, we wanted to have the paving, the stone, put in the same direction as all the structure of the Barceloneta, so that in a very simple way, the perspectives of the promenade always could refer to the structure. These are some examples. Well, it was very. The construction of this project was very complicated, because we had many problems with the ministerium, but of the problems we tried to make advantages, and for instance we had a border, a stone border, very important, granite. Ministerium began to build a much narrower piece and changed this stone border by a concrete border here. So after a lot of discussions, we said, okay, we are going to put an end and to solve the difference of surfaces with a wooden platform. And I think that the solution was better, even when it was necessary, not because of our volunteer, something like this, was better than the former project. This is a drawing of the paving. This one is well, the position is okay. You see all this grid of the paving, the square, this square, which is cut into two pieces, one belonging to this surface, to this level, the other one joining the second level in a very easy way. This square here has a particular element on its end in a different, paved in a different stone in grey granite. The rest of the paving is done on blue, grey paving from Norwegian, and which we would give a different perspective, a new perspective of the horizon seen from that direction here, from the Harbour Promenade, from the Old Port Promenade. Those are some pictures I will show, which show a little which was our intention of placing materials and how they were one after the other one, sand and water finally. This is a sculpture work of Rebecca Horn. When she decided to place it here, the promenade was not yet built, and there were some restaurants left at that time. We don't know if she thought of the future situation, but it fits very well to the place and to the project. We didn't never talk with her about this, but we agreed very much with her work. Well, you see here, as in the other case, in the case of the last project, and different to the first project I showed, the benches are not furniture elements placed in a casual way, not belonging to belonging to the whole project, but in another way, like elements placed on the side. You will see in the night pictures the order, the different lighting elements, separating in a way the wood of the stone and remarking this different texture of the materials. We placed those low lightning elements. You will see them. There is a second order to lighten the beach. Well, this would be the drawing of the last square joining the former promenade. You see the slope is very easy. There are some pictures of the stair and how the limit. We didn't think there was necessary to have protection among the square and the stairs, but finally we decided it might be better, and we placed there a line of benches. This is the drawing of the bottom square with this element paved in another material. emerging of the whole surface. Well, this part here belongs to the third phase of the works. Well, here you can appreciate, I think, very clearly the three orders of lining. This one along the wooden platform, this more important one lining the beach, and the third one lining in a more soft. Thank you. In a more soft way, the rest, or these triangle squares along the promenade, or which belong to the promenade. The light effects on the beach were more important than we had thought, and it's very interesting, and I think it's better than we thought. That at night the beach becomes all the protagonism, and it becomes the real promenade. And people use it very, very much in the night. You see how the beach gets almost all the light of the promenade. Well, there is another project. I can change it. The fourth project, we haven't yet begun with the work. I hope that in 2 months we will begin. And I wanted to show it even when it's not even begun, because it shows a little way of working because of the condition of the site and of the problem, much more technical and much more involved in structure with structural problems and so on. Well, in the exhibition there are some drawings of the whole project. This is an urban, a part of an urban highway which crosses several very populated quarters of Barcelona. This is this is the situation now. Here not anymore, but this would be more or less 2 kilometers long. There are many things, many different problems on it. For instance, this band of wheels, railway and subway and so on, pass over this belt. The belt is open air until there. From here to there it was under the structure. Here it appeared again, and sometimes in a very lower level, and sometimes almost at the surface level. It passes through all those quarters. The city decided to cover it, but as the cost of the operation was too high, we had to think of ways of resolving it. And this first part here, this first piece will be, the city has built a parking space, yes, over the highway, and on this new structure we have projected the promenade along the highway. Well, this is a picture of how it is now. Well, those sections correspond to the same place, to the same cut. How it was now, we have the structure built, and we are waiting to begin with the works on the surface. But well, this illustrates a little, which is the change of views and of well, and of conditions. Yes? No. Yeah, okay. These are pictures taken during the works for the structure of the park, of the parking. Well, you see how the structure was before. These are the images of the structure built. Well, the problem is that the height, the total height, is something more or something higher than the streets on both sides. That makes that we have redesigned this side streets in order to give more space to for the relation between the upper part and the streets. And we have been defining and projecting, designing the way of going into and out the parking in order to provide a surface as we wanted it to. Well, I hope this can illustrate the work on the definition of limits. You see, this would be the actual limit of the sidewalk, this one, here, like this. Those areas are areas paved, but only for cars. Here there are many things, installations and so on, and there is a redefinition of all these lines here, there, in order to have one and another single curve, in order to have a continuity of the borders of this street and of the sidewalks. Oh. This would correspond to the last part of the whole intervention, with the studies of the different cuts along the. And I don't know if you can see this well, but this is in parallel the redefinition of the levels of the borders of the sidewalks and the streets. I mean, the work done is very, very accurate, because we want to have a continuity in lines in this dimension and also in this dimension. Well, this would be in a very abstract way, the solution of the piece. It's, well, I would have liked to show it in with more drawings, more illustrating, better illustrating, but I would say this picture shows how the different parts of this important piece, important because it's a surface built on the level, over the level of the streets arriving there, and that could be a very impressive element if we don't give it a sequence of surfaces and of plans which are done according to the situation on both sides, which changes from one place to another place. For instance, to illustrate this, for instance, we have here the facets a little far from this structure, and here too. So here we can give more height in order to plant trees on the structure. Here the facets are closer to the structure, so we give a different slope to this platform, so that the connection between the platform and the outside can be more easy. And that's how we continue working along the whole piece, and changing also materials, changing grass or stone, and also paving the sides with the same materials each time. Well, this corresponds to the last project. The white pieces would be grass. These would be paved stone, small, and the others would be bigger stones. You see the trees are changing, are going to both sides in order to give a wider shape to the whole intervention, to make that the project arrives to both sides. This here is a former drawing of pavings, which refers how we are changing one paving to another in order to give this different situations in the whole piece. Well, this is the drawing of the distribution of trees. Even when this drawing doesn't reflect the same as here, we try to have always these poplars, I think is the name, along the both sides, remarking this linearity, but the flowered trees, tipuanas, are jumping to one side and to another side, making the shape of the whole intervention wider. Oh, and that's all. Thank you.
Olga would be quite happy to respond. There must be some questions from the Spanish contingent that I see here.
They are so tired.
They're so tired. They'll wake up. Any questions? Are you all looking the other way then? Maybe maybe I'll ask one question. One of the things that I think is we're always referring to it, but I'm not sure where it comes from in the work, is the idea of prospect and horizon and what you see and how you change the way you see. And many of these things have to do with the kind of inflections that you sort out on the floor, like when you lift the floor.
Yes.
These slopes and so on. How are you? Can you say something about this idea of the way you establish new positions in the projects?
Well, I think that the shape of the places is given by the walls, but in the same way by the surfaces. It's in the 3 dimensions. So, it's the same as if you have. Well, I don't know. It's difficult to explain because I think it's very natural. You have a very square space, inner space, and you just change a little the direction of one wall, and everything is changing. The effect of the perspective, the appreciation of the wideness of the place, and it's the same. On you, over you, you only have the sky. You can't do anything in the open space. But I think that it's very important to work with the surface, with the ground, because, for instance, in this at the end of both promenades, of the seashore promenade and the old port, this inflection of the ground is very important for me, in order to relate the place where you are, the space where you are, with the far horizon and with the sea. And you live in a second position, the people, for instance, and the things, the objects on the beach. So you have the paving, a lot of surface in blue, then you change, it's gray, and then you have the sea and the horizon. And well, this is a very special situation, but I think, and there is one thing else, maybe at the beginning, or maybe we try to build the open space, and at the beginning maybe we need to put things against other things with the aid of steps and stairs and built elements. But I think, well, for me, with the time, or I don't know, well, you use these elements only when you really need them, because because it's maybe more the incidence maybe is bigger